Okay, so we're talking data cleaning with this spreadsheet. So when you quickly look at the data, then you see that there is some sort of like discrepancies on the data, and that would need cleaning so that you can have results and outputs that are speaking with what the data is. Because of course, when you look at the first column, this was supposed to be headers. These headers are not saying a lot about our data. I think it could help for us to clean this so we can get headers that are in line with what we want. Of course, there's some columns like table one, this one, H18-2020 index. So we will take columns that we will definitely be using. So this is the first decision that you do when you see the data is a bit messy. First of all, you start to look for, is my data making sense to me? The second one is the columns do speak to what is inside the data, because you don't want to find yourself saying month, but in month you see years, or you see something that is just not speaking to the data that you're actually trying to clean or trying to solve. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and clean the data, and this is just gonna be a simple one because this is in Excel. So literally you use cells and columns to actually clean the data. Okay, let's go ahead. I mean, of course, I'm going through each and every column just to see if I understand what's in the column using filters. So we filtered the data and look at each column. If there's no missing values, there's any other further cleaning that we need to do. So this is like a strategy to understand what type of cleaning or the extent of cleaning that you will be doing in Excel. But we can see this is a structured data and there's not much needed. I think the transformations that we only need is for the data to communicate with the person that will be using on the inside. Okay, we've decided to call this column, give a name of province metro, because we see it's a metro or it's a province name. It's a metro name or it's a province name. Okay, see what's here. What we see that we can be able to clean here would be metropolitan area, national and province, freehold properties, property sold first time, resold. So what we could do would be, let's see, I think would be to just make sure that we understand we're taking out these terms that are long so that we can make them a bit shorter. So I think one of the ways maybe that we can check is to divide the column and see if we separate them what we need from what we don't, what we will end up with. Let's go. Okay, here I started with taking out the opening up another column so that we can clean this column to what it is. But I'm trying to think of a couple of ways whether we should do a logic test or we should trim. Find and replace or trim. I think the easiest would be find and replace. Let's try with find and replace. Okay, so where you find and replace is under home, the home tab. Go to the home tab, go to find and select, and then the drop down, replace. So what we want to do is replace anything that says residential index, residential property index. So let's say copy any place where residential property index is written, it just must replace it with blank. Boom. Now, what also we can do would be to find also and replace this one for RPPI for properties, copy and say RPPI for properties, replace it with nothing. But I'm thinking, yeah, RPPI for properties. So this is RPPI for the one that's left now. So this is RPPI, replace all of them. Okay, well, at this point, I'm not sure if we're gonna use this column, this blank column, because I was quite conflicted if I use the logical test or just find and replace. But find and replace was the easiest method that we could do. Okay, let's look at another method that we can use, maybe trim, I think. So let's say we want to trim this word indices at the back. I think this is gonna be right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think let's say right of E2 and how many characters? I think it's 7. Let's try that and see. So it's actually bringing me that. So if then I want to trim, then it means I want to trim everything and not get indices. Okay, if that didn't work, let's try as well trim on another side. Trim, let's say left 22. because we see that trim says it's going to show exactly what you say I want to trim. So everything else that you don't want to show is not on the statement. So the left of 22 characters would be provinces. Let's see what if it gives us. It says 2 left, left, not left 22, left text, which is E2. Um, the number of characters would be 22. So provinci, one, two more. So if we need two more, we'd be saying 24. So you can see, and this is gonna give us everything else plus that provincial indices. Yeah, of course. Well, of course, this method is an okay method. I was just wanting to show you that there's a couple of ways where you can sort of like to clean the data with different methods. Yeah, I mean in Excel there are endless methods to actually clean the data. So for the purposes of this, what I will do is I will delete this column because there is no need. Already I'll just be working on this one. So when we go back then to column E, it means we'll say find and replace. So what the word that we're looking for is indices. So we just want to replace that word with nothing, truly. Close. Now when we look, it's a bit clean. Sectional title properties, result properties. Now it's more cleaner, the descriptions. Okay. Now let's recall or rename this column. We would call it type of property sold, type, or let's say property type. Then when we also check on the other things that we really want to work on, of course this can stay because I would think these are IDs. Let's see if they are really like IDs. I think they're quite unique in their nature. So yes, we can deem these as IDs, as unique IDs. So the other stuff I'm just going to take out. Okay, so let's go now. Now we have more like cleaner data or more understandable data. Unique IDs, property type, province or metro. Then let's deal with the months. So because we know these are months, let's see. Because we know these are months, let's try to see if we just take out the M and we stay with the months. Okay, let's do this. Highlight all of them. We've highlighted all of them. We go to find and replace and say we want to replace M with nothing. Replace all. Boom. Now let's see how it looks. The M is gone. Okay, cool. I'm trying to expand now. Okay, so this is 2020-01, 2010-01. So because I want it to be a date, I think we can highlight it all. Then again, change this. to in between now, in between, I want to, in between, I want to put a space and format to a date. Okay, let's see how we can do that. I think one portion would be at this date. In between, we add a space, or let's do custom date. Let's see if we can do that. Okay, so now we have a couple of challenges in Excel. So from in Excel, if let's say we want to write formulas, we need to create like an insert. We insert a blank column for this to work. So our aim is to write something like this. That's going to say left. So we need to put on the date on top there. It needs to say left, right? So from left of, let's say D1, right? Count 4 characters. And so this is a concatenation sign. And you add, okay, let's try to expand this. But by the way, it's on top there. And let's add a dash for this. And also concatenate these to one word. So the and signs there for concatenation. Then in the middle, it's gonna add the dash sign, but on the right of that. So we will say right, still give us that month. So right of D1 still give us the 2 characters for the month. Sure, it didn't close the parenthesis. Okay, let's see. Okay, so here, I think the separator, I don't know why it's not a comma. The separator here is this, and the number of characters, it's 4. Then we did close parenthesis here, right? The separator here as well, it's that. Yeah, let's see. Aha, so that's how we need our date like. So I'm just gonna try and drag this. It seems like it's doing a, okay. Okay, so G1, let's see, go back. Okay, here's another problem that we're running into, I think, because we said D, so it's gonna move sequentially E, F, so it's gonna expect that. So what we could do, we could do it for what it is and then drag it out. Okay, because we know that this is working, now we want to do it for what it is. Let's see if it gives us the answer F1. Okay, so quickly, I think I quickly thought about another way we can actually do it. The simplest way, maybe, would be to insert a column and drop them down. So, because in Excel, when you use a function, right, you need to have a sort of like a clear row or a clear column so you can be able to do your function. So our function is going to go like the previous left of this and take 4 characters, close that, concatenate with the dot, the dash, and concatenate with right and the right of D1 with 2 characters. I didn't close the brackets there, but it's going to close it itself. Then let's try to drag. Okay, now it's starting to give us the things that we want. Let's drag it to the bottom, that side. So until 2024-02. So what we could do here, we copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. Then here we need to copy all of this. We replace it so we can take out the formulas that is there. You see this formula, because when you delete this, before we delete this, we need to make sure that we have a formula that's actually is taken out. So you copy this and paste special as like numbers. Boom. So you see. Okay, cool. And let's now delete row 1 and then row 2 becomes row 1. So we can then see this. We have year month right now. And I think we can try to push it a lot further, year month, to, again, let's go to home, our home tab, and try to change to like short date. Okay, let's still show a short date. Let's see the format we want. I think it's gonna be that. Let's see if we can drag, but I think it doesn't matter because this is formatted as date on its own. Just making sure not real. Okay, this is formatted as date. So let me highlight all of this. Obviously, there's an easier way to highlight than what I'm doing right now. So this is shift and then you highlight to where you want. Yeah. So let's go to date and format this as short date. So that every column is short date, every row is in the column is short date. So we can definitely say now it's looking sort of like what we want. And I would presume that these numbers are in millions. So this is another assumption that we've made, that they are millions because price in millions. Price in millions. Okay, cool. Then we can just put in R mil. The currency is in rand and it's in millions. So we can also just push it down By double clicking here, it's just gonna copy it's autofill options. And what else are we looking at? I think right now I'm happy with this data that we have. We can start to highlight these ones because obviously we will see when we put it on maybe a visualization and stuff like that. We can also check if we can pivot the data further. But for the purposes of cleaning, I think right now we are done. That's how you clean your data in Excel. What we looked at was one method of actually finding and replace, where you take out the stuff that you don't want by replacing them with what you want, and also either using an Excel function of trimming the data, where it's going to trim off what you don't want and it's going to bring you what you want. I mean, there's obviously endless ways to clean data in Excel, like I said before. So there is a lot as you go, and as time goes, I think you get to learn a lot and you get to experiment. You should not be scared to experiment and change and do another way, because literally that's how you get to figure things out.